Hi, I'm Jessica Camp Perspective. I'm here with Tori. She's I believe, a 2-week board and train that we have here at my facility. And we're going to be going over finding her connection, perception, and working ranges or levels on the remote collar. What these names mean is connection is when you see a muscle twitch or contraction right here where the neck area where we have the e-collar fitted, right by the box. You'll see the muscle move in response to the tap or the press of the button because it's causing a muscle contraction. This is like a miniaturized TENS unit, so we would see a twitch. So like, let's say Miss Tori here is staring at a squirrel. She's looking at a squirrel, and I press the button and I have connection, okay? You'll see a twitch like this, but she's gonna keep staring at the squirrel. She's gonna remain unfazed, okay? So we have connection, but we're not really communicating with the dog because she's not caring about it. Perception would be she's still staring at a squirrel. You see the twitch, and she just kind of looks around, but then goes back to stare at the squirrel, the twitch, the squirrel, twitch, squirrel, and then the squirrel. Like she'll go back and then like that. It's like very subtle. That's what we would call perception range. And then we have working range or working level, which is where we're gonna get a more exaggerated, we're gonna get a bigger response. So you'd see the twitch, and you'd see her kind of move back or give some kind of really big movement. And we're always wanting to work at that working range. Working range, or all these levels are going to be different, by the way, by day to day, because since the dogs have fur, the fur acts as a buffer, so they're not feeling the full power all the time because the two probes have to make contact. Short-haired dogs like Tori here, it's a bit more consistent. Longer-haired dogs like shepherds and like huskies tend to be like kind of inconsistent. So with the remote collar, it could be dependent on the weather, dependent on what's going on. Is there distractions? Is there dogs? Is there people? Is she at home? Is she inside? Is she outside? All these things kind of factor in regards to what's going to work for your dog in that particular moment. So your working range is going to change from context to context, okay? So like inside this room, as I work with her, her number could be 20 and she's perfect at 20. But as soon as we go outside and we add other distractions, that number can go from 20 to 45. And then 45 within that context would be the number that she requires, okay? So I'm going to show you how to recognize this. So I'm going to bring Tori back here. She's getting a little curious. Back to my side. I'm at 15 here. When I say tap, I'm pressing the nick function, which would be the bumpy button, the side bumpy button on your remote here, okay? So 15, and when I say the word tap, I'm pressing the button. Tap, 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 no response. 20, tap, 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 tap. I did 3 more taps because I thought I saw a twitch. 25, tap, 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 no response. A little something there. 30, tap, tap, tap. Okay, so you see how she's kind of like looking down towards where the collar is. Tap, 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 tap. So I think I see a little twitch. 35, tap, tap. There we go. So there's a bigger jump there, okay? So that could be good connection, or it can be now the brain is becoming cognizant of what's going on with the collar. I'm going to go down to 30. Tap. There it is. So there's a big old contraction there. Tap. Like that. Tap. There we go. So you see how she's giving a bigger movement? So this is like lower level of the working range. So think of each range, connection, perception, and working as like as a spectrum. There's the lower end and the higher end. Here I would say I'm like in the higher end of perception and the lower end of the working range. Tap, tap, right there. But you see how she's giving me a big movement? She went from over there, now she's wanting to come in close to me here. It's a really obvious response. I'm gonna keep it at 30, and I'm gonna say that 30 in this particular moment is her working range. Oh, she's gonna hop on her bed here. Would be the working range in this particular context, okay? Now, as we train your dog, this number may change because she's being exposed to it more consistently. She's becoming more aware of it. So she's becoming more cognizant or sensitive to the collar because dogs aren't meant to have their muscles contracted. This is human technology, something that we've developed in order to communicate and train our dogs. So for her in the beginning, and when she feels that twitch, she's like, I've never felt this before, it's not concerning. But as I kept repeating it, and she's like, hey, this thing is getting more intense, and it keeps coming back, what does it mean? The brain starts to become more sensitive, okay? So as we work with her and condition her more and more, that number may stay static, that number may go down, or the number may go up, depending on the context, or just depending on your dog. So every dog's number is different, size, breed, personality type, temperament, none of that stuff matters. What matters is how tough is the dog to the e-collar. A dog could be very sensitive to the prong collar, but very tough to e-collar. They could be very tough to prong collar, but sensitive to e-collar. Every dog is different. So we have to figure all this stuff out as we go along, which is why we do these conditioning exercises to help teach the dog that the e-collar is a line of communication. A lot of people tend to think of e-collar as a punisher, which it can be used as. However, I like to think of it more as a motivator. So here, nobody likes to be in an uncomfortable situation. Our thought process is when we're uncomfortable, we want to remove ourselves from the situation. So here, when we put her under remote pressure, she's going to feel some discomfort and she's going to think, how do I want to turn this off? And I'm going to help guide her into things to teach her how to turn it off when she responds to it. And that's going to teach her, hey, when I feel this, it's actually telling me to do something. And if I do that thing it's telling me, it goes away. Okay, so it's not seen as a punisher. So in regards to her working level, we're going to say it's 30. And then we're going to start working on the place command next using her place bed here. All right, so we're going to start working with Tori on place command, which is teaching her to go from what she's doing to this object. Now here they've provided her with her dog bed, and I've placed her dog bed on top of one of our placemats just to kind of create more of a exaggerated, stepping up onto something to make it very clear to her that she should go there. So here in the last video, we determined that 30-ish is her working range. We're going to begin at 30. We may see some things like fight response, or avoidance, or shutdown, her trying to run off, or trying to bite at the leash and roll around. It's all normal in the sense that dogs, no one likes to be put under negative pressure, so some dogs can become resistant. We have to work the dog through this, otherwise we have unreliable obedience. So if she decides, hey, I'm going to shut down and not do this, and I say, oh, I'm so sorry, like I see that you're stressed, we're not going to make you do this, she's going to learn that that is an option, and there is no option other than compliance when it does come to the obedience, okay? Because the last thing you want is your dog is running away towards a street or something, and you call her and she thinks it's an option, okay? Everything has to be mandatory, everything has to be performed when told on the dog's behalf, otherwise the dog will learn they don't have to, and that becomes problematic, okay? So we're at 30 here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some remote pressure paired with leash pressure or directional pressure to guide Tori to the place bed here, okay? So we're at 30, and I'm going to, when I say tap, press the button, tap, 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 good girl, good. So once, tap, 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 good girl. Once she's entirely on the object, the pressure turns off, okay? So the pressure is when I say tap, like this, tap, 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 good girl. The pressure is the tapping, the remoting, the contraction. She's going, what is this? I don't like this. How do I turn this off? And the directional and or leash pressure is helping her tap, 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 tap. I'm going to bump this a little bit. We're going to go to 35. The leash pressure tells her where to go. So right there, Tori tried to step off. I countered her with some leash pressure, directing her back towards the placemat. Kept the tapping, but I tapped about 6 to 8 times before she even responded. And e-collar should never feel like an argument. E-collar should be very smooth. So I bump it from 30 to 35 because I want to see more incentive from Tori here to go back to the placemat to alleviate the pressure she's feeling. Break. Good girl. So break means your job is done, and we start that word right off the bat. So we're not using the word place because we want to make sure that we shape the behavior using pressure first. Because if I said place and Tori went there, well, great, but how do I put the remote behind it because she did what I said? So I want to layer in the pressure without the word to shape the behavior first. Then we'll label the word over it of place. But the break word we use from the beginning immediately because I want her to start associating that break means your job is done. Now you can remove yourself from the object. Tap, 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 tap. Good. This is 35. So still a little slow. Tap, 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 tap. Good. We're going to bump it a little bit. We're going to go to 40 now. Break. Good girl. Tap, 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 tap. Good. So Still quite a few taps, and she's not giving us a big response like she was earlier. Break. This could be due to connection, or it could be due to like her getting kind of more familiar to the pressure itself. Tap, 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 tap. Very good. Atta girl. Good job. Good. So I'm using very subtle leash pressure. Tap, 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 tap. Good girl. Using very subtle leash pressure to lead her to the object, because I want her to, for the most part, to respond to the e-collar, okay? Break, because the more we use this leash in communication, the more she and you become dependent on it, okay? So right off the bat, I want to start tap, tap. Good. No pressure there. No leash pressure. Right away, once I start to see the dog get a concept, tap, 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 tap. Good. A concept of the command. I like to alleviate the directional pressure as quickly as possible. Tap, 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 tap. I'm going to bump it to 55 as quickly as possible, because the longer you use it or incorporate it in your training, the more dependent both you and the dog become to it. Okay, break. Good girl. So the other thing is I bumped it to 55 because she's going to place fairly smoothly. Tap, tap. But it's still like a bunch of taps. It's like 6 to 8 taps before she actually self-corrects, okay? And I want it to be as quick as possible, ideally within a tap. Good, she gets comfortable, this is fine. So what's nice about the place command is it's the most lenient of the stationary commands there are. Sit down and place are all stationary commands. But the place command is so that she has more options. She can sit, stand, lay down. I personally don't care. I just care that she's within the perimeter, okay? Now, technically, the perimeter here would be the big metal placemat that we have, not her bed, okay? However, if I didn't have this placemat underneath her bed, the perimeter would be the shape of her bed, okay? So then, if she were to be like half off of her bed, that would technically be considered breaking the position. I would correct that with the tap to get her to correct herself deeper or more within the area of the object she is on. Break. Good girl. We're at 55. And tip, 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 tip. Atta girl. Good job. Yes. Good. We're at 55 still. So here she's thinking about it, right? She's thinking about getting off, but she doesn't. Good girl. Break. Atta girl. Good job. Yes. Good girl. Okay. And tip. Tip. Good. So 55 is doing pretty good. We haven't seen her try to get off yet. So it might be because she wants to avoid 55, or it might be because she's starting to get the concept of, if I go here and don't get off, I can avoid pressure. Okay. And this is why pressure is so effective in training, is because no one wants to be put under pressure. So growing up, we had peer pressure, social pressure. When you're driving, if someone drives really close to you on the highway or the expressway, to incentivize you to speed up, they're using spatial pressure by getting really close to you. Whether or not you respond the way they want by speeding up or switching lanes is a totally different thing. But the point is, feeling uncomfortable is something that nobody wants. So remote collar makes the dog feel a level of discomfort. And the dog thinks, how do I turn this off and how do I keep it off? And essentially, it's tap. If you go here, it goes away. And the faster you go here, the faster it goes away. And then as long as you stay there, you can avoid it. Break. Good girl. Tip. Good. That's one tap. Good job. Break. Break, break, break. Good. I'm gonna do a couple more. 55 still. Tip. 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 Very good. So no leash pressure there, just the 3 taps. Good girl. Break. So what I'm doing here is I'm wanting to create ease of response, which is how quickly and smoothly does the dog go in response to the collar. Tip. Like that. Good girl. So if I were to introduce this, and like let's say Tori here were to be more resistant, like kind of pulling at the leash and biting at the leash, or shutting down and refusing to go, is if I said place and then try to send her there, place becomes all of that nonsense. Place becomes fight the leash and pull and shut down and don't move or don't do what I tell you. So I always want to work through that stuff first. Break. Want to work through that stuff first and then introduce the word so that the word becomes a very smooth transition of when I say place, it means to leave my side and go to this object. Right there. Right. Now she's getting a little stressed because she knows that she's going to get tapped to go to the place. This is normal. Good girl. Tip. Tip. Good. And that's the one thing about this exercise is we typically would keep it short, but for the sake of teaching you to teach your dog or follow through with the training, we go a bit longer. But we usually keep these exercises at 3 to 5 minutes because sending your dog to place using pressure and releasing them gets stressful because it's redundant, and then the dog starts to anticipate. So essentially you're removing your dog only to force them back using pressure, and that's what makes it stressful for them. Break. So we're going to do one more, and then we're going to start applying the word of place. So then we have a verbal cue to then turn on the behavior. Okay. Place. Tip. 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 Atta girl. Good job. Good. Tip. 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 Tip, tip, tip. Good girl. So she hadn't gone off for a bit, and right there she stepped off. That might be due to stress. That may be due to her getting frustrated. You can see how she's panting here. The panting is her venting stress. This is something that I want to see because stress means what's going on right now is stressing her out, of course. But we only stress about the important things. Break. So if it's not important, your dog's not going to do it. And that's what we want the dog to understand of the commands that we teach, is that what we say is important. 55 still. Place. Tip. Good. You can see when I said place, she kind of picked up her paw and looked at the object, and I gave her one tap, and she went straight there. That was a very smooth send. So what we're doing here is the sending exercise. Teaching her, of course, to leave my side and go to the object here. Break. Good girl. Come on. Break, break, break. Come on. Good girl. All right. Place. Tip. Tip. Good. Atta girl. 2 taps, no directional pressure. A little frustration, but that's okay. Good girl. We'll do a couple more. Break. Break, break, break. Good job. Place. Tip. 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 Good girl. So sending her from different directions so she doesn't get tied to a set way of going to place. Because if you always practice place the same way every single time, dogs are creatures of habit. So if I always sent her from this way and decided to send her from that way, you literally see the dog walk around and come towards the place mat from this direction. Break. We're going to do one more. Place. Tip. Well, that's a good one. Handler error. Okay. That was a good one because when I said place, I could see her head kind of move in response. That's telling me that her brain is now understanding that place means to do something. So there's that quick little fidget and the tap to get her to actually perform the task. So now we're going to talk about the stay component. So there's 2 parts to the place command. There's the send and then there's the stay. Okay. We do not say stay in this command. We just say place and stay is implied. The way I create that implication of stay is if Tori tries to get off and I start remoting her until she goes back. Okay, so that happened about a handful of times as we were training before incorporating the word of place. So then Tori thinks, okay, I hear this, I feel this pressure, I go here, the pressure turns off. If I try to step off prematurely off of this object, the pressure comes back. And it doesn't turn off until I go back to the object I was on previously. So that's how we create the implied stay. So dogs learn best by making mistakes, so to speak, and having a negative experience attached to it. So she thinks, all right, I'm on this object, but how long do I got to be here for? Tries to step off, remote goes off. She's like, hey, this kind of sucks. I'm going to go back to what I was doing. Pressure goes away. She was like, would you look at that? When I went back to what I was doing prior, the thing I didn't like that started happening went away. Okay, and that's how we can create the implied stay. So we don't say stay, we don't say no, we don't say we do not do any kind of warning, we do not repeat the word of place. Otherwise, you're creating a cued behavior. So for a child, if you send them to their room and say, go to your room, the child would understand to go to the room and not come out until you give them permission. Dogs don't think that way. For a dog, if you send her to her bed, she goes, okay, I'm here, I did what you wanted, I'm gonna go play with my toys now. But I didn't give her permission yet. So I have to apply a correction because she technically has to attempt the behavior. You know, stepping off, have a negative attached to it, step back on and go, oh, okay. As long as I go back here, I can avoid the pressure. So here, the moment I see her trying to get off, I'm not trying to stop her from doing so. I'm technically allowing her, but I'm limiting her range of motion by shortening the leash so that like I don't just drop it and let her walk away, because then that would teach her like, yes, you can get off the object. So I'm restraining her a bit using the leash and tapping until she, as much as possible, figures out on her own terms that going back is in her best interest. So here, when it comes to practicing the stationary control, this is something that we do simultaneously with like the send. So like right now, I just taught her how to go to the object, and now I'm working on the stay component as I'm explaining and having her stay here. So here, let's say you're gonna watch TV for a bit. You're gonna watch like a 2-hour movie. Take Tori's dog bed, place it next to you, on the leash in the beginning, place, tap, she goes, and then you watch TV for a couple hours. You know, fast forward 30 minutes, Tori gets bored, she wants to get up, she wants to explore. You wouldn't say anything, you just, you know, tap her, she should go back to the object, continue watching TV. An hour later, Tori gets bored again, she tries to get up, she tries to sneak off, I tap her, she goes back, she goes, okay. Every time I think about getting off, the tap happens. As long as I stay with what I'm doing, I can avoid the tap. So, again, she has to attempt the behavior. So here, we're doing, for the sake of the video, to keep it short, a short-term kind of stationary command. Like she's been here about 5 to 10 minutes so far. And as we have her here at the facility, she'll be doing 1 to 2 hours as well throughout the day. As dogs are training, as dogs are playing, you know, dogs are on treadmills, puppies are running around, dogs are being moved back and forth. There's a lot of things going on, and she's expected to maintain the position. So you have to practice and apply it for this obedience to be functional to your life. Most people just tend to teach things for like a short little session, and then fast forward 2 months, they hope that it like will one day work for the 2 hours that they need it to. You have to apply this command to your daily life. You know, at least practicing 3 to 4 times a week once you get your dog from the board and train and you watch the video and stuff. Because if you only use it sparingly, the whole phrase of if you don't use it, you lose it kind of applies to dog training, because it's not being applied, it's not really being applicable for the dog. So as soon as you pick them up, you know, doing 30 minutes here, an hour here, 3 hours here, you pick and choose the length of time that you want to do stationary work with your dog. Everybody's application is different. Some people need their dogs to not move for 4 to 6 hours. The average person is usually an hour to 2.5 hours. So if you know, yeah, we would like Tori not to move for a couple of hours at minimum. When you're at home and you take her home and stuff and you apply this, you want to be practicing at that 2 to 3 hour range, at least, you know, a couple of times a week. So it stays applicable to her. Otherwise, if you only do 15-minute sessions, she'll become a pro of doing 15-minute stationary commands, but when you one day need her to do 2 hours, she's not going to do it because she hasn't practiced it, okay? So place command, very simple. Just go to this object, sit, stand, lay down. I don't care what you do, just don't get off. It's transferable, so like let's say you have another dog bed, you can use a different dog bed. Let's say you want to take her to the restaurant and you want to have her sit still for a bit as you eat your brunch or dinner, take her placemat, drop it on the ground, Tori place, so she has more options while you enjoy your meal and you're not having to be so strict about the positioning that she's in. So this is the place command. She did very well. She's responding good to pressure. We did go from 255 from the 30 initially. So we're going to continue working with her with the other obedience commands, but for her introduction to pressure, this was really good. Break.
Hi, it's Enrique with Canine Perspective. Today we have Tori, our new board and train. This video we'll be going over the heel command. So heel is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So if I take 5 steps with Tori, Tori takes 5 steps. If I take 10, Tori takes 10. If I come to a stop, Tori's to automatically sit, no words said. This is all done with a slack leash in any environment. Positioning is when Tori's right shoulder is parallel to my left leg. So like right here is the position that is required for the heel command. Good girl. So this is correct position. Right? Anything else than that will be corrected. So when we're shaping the behavior without using any words, we're just going to be kind of walking back and forth. You'll find that I'm walking back and forth. So a few things. I'm going to start walking with Tori, and she's probably going to pass me. To create that passing, we want to have a certain way we're holding the leash. So with the leash, we're going to go ahead and put our right thumb into the loop. I'm right-handed, and we need Tori to be on the left side. So right thumb in the loop, closing it here with e-collar. Left hand, I'll put the leash over my pointer finger like this, and then closing it. You can put this all in one hand, so you'll just put the loop in your thumb, so it's closed like this. So when I start walking, she's going to pass me, right? Because I'm giving her all the leash to make that choice. We want this much slack for her to see the mistakes she's making, and then we can kind of teach her something. If we're giving too much leash, she's going to constantly be stepping over it, and if we're kind of shortening it too tight, we're forcing her to be here. So I'm going to start walking. If she passes me, I'm going to be doing a 180 to my right, an immediate 180 to my right. And I'm just going to keep going like back and forth, like in a straight line, just passing or turning every time that right shoulder passes me. Other things she might try to do, she might go to my right side. If she goes to my right side, I'm going to keep my movement and just go ahead and give leash pressure back to my left. And just giving the pressure with the e-collar. If she puts the brakes on as I'm moving, so she just kind of like resists, I'm going to keep my movement and just kicking with the e-collar. Good. So right now we're at 13. I'm going to go ahead and start walking in a tap. Good girl. Good. So cute. Cute toy. So turn, tap. Good. Good. As she passes me, I'm going to turn, tap, tap. Good girl. Good. Do a slow turn. Good. Good job. Good. Good. Slow turn. Tap. Good. Tap. Tap. Good girl, Tori. Tap. Good. Slow turn. Good. So if I speed up, she should speed up. And if I slow down, she should slow down. And if I come to a stop, the automatic sitting. So the way we teach that is we're going to go ahead and pull up on the leash and then tap. Tap. And relax, relax. Good girl. Good. Up. Tap. Tap. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl, Tori. So nothing out of the ordinary so far. She's been doing really good. We're gonna go ahead and give it another walk rate real quick. So here, we'll start walking. Good girl. Good. Slow turn. Tap. 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 Yes, good girl. Good girl. Good. Slow turn. Tori. Tori. Good. I'm going to slow to a stop, and then pull up on my leash, and then tap, and then relax. Good. 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 So this is just going to be the part one of heel. Part two, we'll start adding the word heel to it, and kind of go into more in depth of like body language things. Again, nothing out of the ordinary. She did it really good. What else? Another command we kind of teach with this is called break. Break meaning you're free to do whatever you want. So how we teach that is I'm going to go ahead and cue the word break, and then use the leash to kind of bring her off of me. Break. Good. Bring her off, and now she can go ahead pee, smell, poop, do whatever she wants. Good girl. It's from Kind Perspective. Today we have Tori. And in this video we're going to be going over heel part 2. So we're going to start adding the word heel, and we're also going to be going over a little bit over a few body language things for Tori to kind of let her know what's going on this walk. So but yeah. So we're going to start off with using the heel word. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be walking with Tori, and for every stop I do, I'm going to cue the word heel and then start with the left leg. So every stop is going to be heel, left leg, we come to a stop, heel, left leg, we come to another stop as I'm walking, heel, left leg. So I'm going to do this a few more times. If she does not respond to, the verbal and I'm walking, there will be a tap. If she's responding when I start walking, there will be no tap. So here, heel, left leg. Good. Can slow to a stop. Good girl. Heel, left leg. Good. Good. Heel, left leg. And slow to a stop. Good. Heel, left leg. And slow to a stop. Heel, left leg. And then slow to a stop. Good. So that's what it's going to look like. We're only going to practice this, repeating the heel, usually in this video, or like the first lessons for everyone who does heel with them, just so it's transferable. So, one, having her getting used to hearing the word, and then when you hear this word, we start moving. So just getting it drilled down in the beginning, so that she kind of progresses quicker with just hearing it moving, and then after this video, we won't have to be repeating it. It'll just be heel. We're walking. If we come to a stop, we don't need to say anything. She should just automatically sit, and then we start the left leg. And this word is only used to start the command. We don't use it to correct, so we wouldn't, say heel, tap, heel, tap. It's just heel, we're walking, and if she passes us, we're gonna do the 180 to her right to tap and correct her there. Heel means to follow me. It does not mean to get into a position, so I wouldn't look at Tori and say heel and expect her to come to my left side and sit next there. That's a different command. It'd be heel, I'd start walking this way and then tap for her to come close this gap of me and Tori. Okay, so that's heel. Then we have we're gonna go over left turns and right turns. So throughout this video and her first video with heel, I've been saying slow or slow to stop or slow and slow turn. We like to use the example of like traffic laws. So if we're gonna come to a stop sign or a turn, we slow down first. One, to let the other driver know behind us there's going to be something happening when our brake lights come on, and two, just to be safe. So for Tori, for dogs, it's kind of just being fair to the dog. So if we're going for at a consistent speed for like 30 minutes, and then we automatically just stop, Tori's probably just going to keep going forward because there was no warning, there was no slowdown, there's nothing letting her know that this change was going to happen. So we want to slow down first to kind of be fair to her, make sure she's letting her know, hey, something's going to happen here. Another reason why we want to slow down is to kind of see if she's paying attention or not. So if we slow down and she's not slowing down, we need to correct this first before we stop. We're going to go ahead and do a immediate 180 to our right and tap to correct to redirect her like we did in the first video. Anytime she passes me, it's going to be a 180 to my right tapping. So we're going to go ahead and start with the left turns. Oh, and you're going to slow down like 3 to 4 steps, then doing your turn or stopping. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and cue the word heel. So heel, tap, good. Slow down first, so I'm seeing she's paying attention. So here she's not paying attention. Turn, tap, good. And tap for her to catch up, good. So if I slow down here, this is fine. So I'm gonna start, I'll do it over here actually. Turn close to the camera. Tap. Good. So you guys can see it right here. So slow first. We're gonna turn left, tap. I'm gonna start with the right leg, right leg. Good. Tap, tap. Slow. Good. Then right, left, right. Good. Slow walk. Good. Right leg, left leg, right leg. Good. Tap, tap, tap. Good. One more here. Right, left, right. That was a little messy. We'll do 2 more. Okay. Slow first. Good girl. Start with the right leg. So right leg, right leg. Good. Tap, try to catch up. Good. Slow. So tap, turn. Good. Right, left, right. Good. Slow. Right, left, right. Okay, and then we're going to slow to a stop. Yes, good girl, Tori. Good. So we shouldn't be tapping during those turns. I'm only tapping if she's passing me. So left turns and right turns, we always start with the opposite leg. So if we're going to go left, we start with the right leg going this way. Then it's the left leg. Then it's the right leg going back the other way. So we like to have the owners like use, kind of look at the cracks on the sidewalk. So if you're going to approach a crack, this right leg would land on the crack going this way. We like to make it like making it end of a square. So you should remain on the crack going that way, and then once you're ready to go back this way, that's when the right foot hops off the crack. Now we're going to go over right turns. So if we're going to turn right, we're going to start with the left leg. So I can do it right here actually. So here, heel, tap, good, and then left leg, left leg, tap, good. We're going to do 4 more. So slow walk, good. Left leg, left leg. Good. So slow walk here. Good. Left leg, left leg. No tapping. Good girl. Yes, a good girl, Tony. Slow. Left, right, left. 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1 more. Left leg, left leg. Good. Tap. Good girl. So I'm going to mix up the turns. I'm going to do left turns and right turns. So here's a left turn. Good. Right leg, right leg. Good. Here's another left turn. Slow down first. Right leg, right leg. Tap. Good. Here's a right turn. So slow. Left leg, left leg. Another right turn here, slow. Left leg, left leg. Good. Yes, a good girl. So now that we have finished both parts of heel, you've seen nothing out of the ordinary. She's really good. So what you would do when you're gonna go for your walks, collar her up first, potty break. When she's done potting, you can find her working number. Once you find your working number, you cue the word heel and start walking and tap if needed. We don't repeat heel, we just use the remote to close this gap. Right now I'm at 18. Then you would go ahead and do 5 left turns and 5 right turns. After those turns, then you can proceed with your actual walk. A reminder, before these turns and stops, you want to slow down 3 to 4 steps before you turn, before you stop. If you slow down and Tori's not slowing down with you and she's passing you, don't try to force a turn because she's going to be a little messy. Instead, if she's passing you and you slow down, just do the turn to your right and tap to correct it like we did in the first video. And if you want to give her a potty break during the middle of your walk, you'd approach the grass right before the grass. So like I said, this is the grass right here in front of us. You'd approach it, slow to a stop at the grass, have her sit first, then cue the word break, and then she can go on the grass and do her thing. Hi, it's Enrique with Canary Perspective. Today we have Tori. This video we're going to be going over heel part 2, not heel part 2, stay. So right now Tori is on the break command. She can do whatever she wants. So, come here. So if I bring her to my side, let's see here, and maybe put her in a sitting position, right? Good girl. So what we do for the heel. So if I want her to stay here in this position, and in this spot, this is where stay comes in handy. So when we're teaching stay, we have a visual and like the verbal. So we're gonna go ahead and wave. I'm gonna wave my left hand in front of Tori's face, pairing it with me saying stay. What I'm also gonna be doing after I say that is I'm gonna have my leash like this, right? No tension, but my arm is ready. and I'm gonna pivot out in front of Tori with my right leg, having my leash like this, right? We want this leash like this to assume she's gonna break the command. And all I have to do is pull up and away and tap to keep her in that position. And if I'm here, she has all this leash to kind of move around, and my arm's gonna end up being like up here. Good. So stay, have my leash ready, pivot out in front of her with my right foot, and we face Tori. Good. We can do a little walk around here. I have not done this with her yet. So up, tap, good, and relax. Up, tap, relax, good. Good girl. Up, tap, relax, good. I'm gonna go ahead and put her into a heel, and we'll come back and do a few more. So heel, left leg. Tap, 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 good. Good. I'm gonna slow to a stop. Good. Yeah, good girl, Tori. Good. Stay. Pivot out with the right foot, facing Tori. Had my arm ready before so this is fine. This like keeping the butt up, tap, good. This keeping the butt on the ground, tap. Good. The keeping the butt on the ground but like moving like this is fine because it's just showing focus. So we don't need to correct that. It'll go away if she continues to do it throughout the video. Yes. Oh, tap. Yes, good girl. Good. Tap. Good. Too happy. Heel. Tap. Tap. Good girl. Good. Good. I'm going to slow to a stop right here. Yes, good girl. Stay. Have my leash ready. Pivot out in front of her with my right foot. Up and tap. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. Tap. Wait a moment. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. Good job. Tap. Good. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. That's fine. So the whole time that butt technically remained on tap, 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 good. The butt remained on the ground. She was just kind of just twirling around, and she also kept the same position, the same spot. Position was kind of off, but she was moving, but like I said, this will go away. So again, heel, left leg. Good. Tap, tap, good. And tap for her to catch up. And slow to a stop. Yes. Good. Stay. Pivot out in front of her, my right foot. Good. Do a little walk around here. Good. So at those times, I didn't correct any of those movements. And the last one, as the last moment I was coming back to her, she really held that stay. So sometimes I need to let her settle first. If I correct every little thing, I can kind of create panic or too much frustration there. So nothing out of the ordinary. Like I said, that little twirling around will go away. She's still in a stay right now. So after I'm done talking, I'm gonna pivot out in front again. But using that right foot is important because left foot is heel, right foot is stay. So in more advanced training, you know where it's said. If the trainer puts a dog in heel and they come to a stop, and then instead of leading with the left leg, they lead with the right leg, they lead with the right leg, the dog automatically stays behind in that position they were in without any word set. It's nothing, doesn't take too much work, it's just more consistency in practicing that as you're walking. That's not our goal. The goal is to help her differentiate between the two commands, letting her know that when the left leg goes forward, that means heel, and this right leg means something different. Because if we're using the left leg for movement and for the staying, it can get mixed and confusing there to the point where she's not going to know which command is which, and then it'll be a little bit more confusing with her. But I'm going to go ahead and pivot out in front of her again. Good. Good. So it's progressive. There's a lot of progress with me when I once let her figure it out. Like, you know, when you're moving this way, it's fine, as long as she's like in this position or spot. Other than that, when you're practicing, there's a few ways you can practice. You can let her do her potty thing. If she's going to go like the number 2, for example, you know, pick it up and everything. As you're going to approach the garbage can, right? As you're going to approach to throw it away, you would give space, stay, pivot out, toss it, come back to your side, good girl, and then proceed to your walk or whatever. If you're going for a walk and then you get the crosswalk, the stop sign, you can do, you know, if you're just going to stand there, you can just do a stay, walk around, green light, okay, come back to your side, heel, and then we continue. New commands override old commands, so I can put her in a heel from here, a down, a sit, you know, maybe even a break. So yeah, that's all. Break. Hi, it's Enrique, camera perspective. Today we have Torrine, or Tori. So we're going to be going over the down command. So down is like the usual command, you know, for the regular, you know, training pet thing. It's just to like lay down. Here we need to teach her the e-collar. So if she did know down, you know, for treats and I said down, she'd lay down. That's good. But if she got up and we needed to kind of make her go back down with the e-collar, she wouldn't know because she's never been taught down with e-collar. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to be teaching her down with e-collar. So we have her on a flat collar right now. Let's help her out here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to step on the leash, pulling the leash down or pulling up. So the leash will be on, I'll have my foot on the leash. I'm pulling up so that the leash is pulling down on her neck. So there's some sort of guidance pressure pulling her down. We're going to start at like 6. It's easier for them to start in the sitting position, so I'll go ahead and put her in a sit. So foot's going to be on the leash, and with the pressure pulling her down, I'm going to pair it with e-collar. So I'm going to give slow taps, and we're going to be taking our time. We're going to start lower. We're going to start lower than her regular working number, just because we are teaching something new to Tori. So here's going to be a little bit of leash pressure. And then here's a 6, so tap, 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 tap. Here's a 9, tap, 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 tap. Okay. 12. Tap, tap, good. Yeah. So I'm not gonna worry about her getting up right away, just that the fact she gave into the pressure of laying down. Break. Yeah. A few more times. Then tap. Tap, tap. Yes. Yeah, she good, Tori. That's a good Tori. And then break. Good. Here's her foot on leash, and good girl. Good. Break. No. That's our e-collar?
What?
That's our e-collar? Or his?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so wait a moment. Leash pressure at 14, tap. Good girl. Good girl, Tori. Good girl. Break. Okay, wait a moment. Good. Try 20. Then here, tap. Good. So I'm starting to get rid of so much leash pressure for her. I'm doing more remote. Break. Good girl, Tori. Good girl. Good girl. Good. Gentle leash pressure. Tap. Good. Good. So now I'm starting to see a lot of consistency here with what we've been doing. So here I'm going to take advantage of this and tap. 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 Good. Took advantage of that tap. Starting to be strict now. Right here. Tap. And good. So I'll start to be strict now, like once I send you down, you're to remain down. So tap. Tap. Good. Harley. Well, the bin's open. Corey. Just getting her used to feeling this pressure and going down is really good. The next step would be kind of getting rid of the leash, a little bit of leash pressure, and then just going straight into e-collar. So here, break. So what that's gonna look like is I'm gonna have my leash in the hand, but I'm not going to give any pressure because it'll be my hand. Now, if she's struggling, I'll go ahead and just drop the leash and then tap to help her out. But here, go ahead and hold it. We're at 20, we got tap. Tap. Good girl. That's a good girl. Good. Try again. Good. Tap. Good girl. I mean, not rude. Break. Ah. Good. Try again. Wait a moment. And then tap. Yes, good girl. So here, tap. Tap. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Tap. Good. That's a good girl. That's a good girl, Torrine. Yeah. Yeah. Break. Wait a moment. So here, gonna go and pull her up here. Now, if she lays down before I do anything, she's gonna go and pull her up. Here, it's gonna be a tap, tap, tap. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah, good girl. Break. Okay. Do one more. Tap. 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 We're at 31 now. Good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Okay. Good. Break. Okay. So now we're going to add the word. So what's going to look like, it's just going to be, I'm going to say down. If there's no response, I'm going to go ahead and tap. And then if she does lay down, there's no tapping needed. So here, down, tap. Good girl. Good. Break. Okay. Gonna do this a few more times. Good. Down. Nice. No tapping. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Break. Come on. Watch out. Little Tori. Good. Put the butt down. Down. Yes. Yeah. So here, tap. Yeah. Yeah. Break it. Come on. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Good. Good. Down. Yes. Yes, Tori. Good. 2 more. Break. Come on, come on. Good. Down. Yes. Good. 1 more. 1 more, Tori. Watch more. Watch 1 more. Good. Break. Yeah. Come on. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Down. Yes. Good. So she did really good. Just making it a little more exciting with her because she's cool. So down. She doesn't lay down. I just go ahead and tap. Nothing out of the ordinary. She did really good. Another command I'll pair with this is called a sit. So we've already shaped the sit behavior of pulling up and tapping. That was covered in the heel video of the getting the automatic sitting done. So here, all I have to do is now label it. So I'll say sit, pull up, and tap. Sit, up, tap, tap. Good girl. Yes, good girl. And then break. So it's called push-ups. So if she's laying down, I can do a sit here. So here, sit. Good. No tapping. But this is the reason why this is happening, is because that's the only thing we've been practicing here. Good. There's a few taps there. Good girl. So now down. Good. Tap. 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 Good. Tap. There we go. Good. Break. Yes, a good girl. That's a good girl. Wada. Sit. Tap. Good. So then after a while, we can start getting rid of the leash pressures. Right there, I said sit, no sitting. I just tapped for her to put the butt down. So that sit is just up and tap. Here, tap. Good. Sit also has an implied stay. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. 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 Right here. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. Wait a moment. So here, tap. Good. Tap. Good. Break. So sit has the implied stay, so we don't say sit stay or down stay. Down, tap. Good. So if we want to practice duration, so we want to practice keeping her in a down for a long time, what we'll do is kind of have this set up. So right now, I have my foot on the leash, she's next to me in a down, and I have my remote. So I can go ahead and like watch a movie, maybe sit on a couch, watch a movie, read a book, watch a movie. If you're working from home, or if you want to go for a walk, park at a bench, sit down, foot on leash, and the e-collar in hand. So then you can just, go like, she can wait here for like an hour, 2 hours, however long you want. And if she breaks it, so when I mean break it, she means like, she like sits or moves, right? We don't repeat it, no repeats, no repeating down. We just go ahead and use a remote and using the leash to put her back, laying down. But good. Break. Hi, it's Enrique at Canine Perspective. Today we have Torrine. This video we're going to be going over recall, the common called command. going to be a two-handler, two-person setup we have here. So Elias is going to be holding Tori with the short leash, and I'm going to be having the long leash with the remote doing the recall. So when we're handling the long leash, I'm right-handed, so I have my right thumb through the loop like this, closing it so it's locked here, and I put my remote in my right hand, and then my left hand has the rest of the leash. With this setup, this allows me to have 3 fingers available, so I'm just going to start reeling it in like this. I'm not going to carry it, just letting it all hit the ground. I only have 3 fingers available because I'm using this one to press the button, and my thumb can just like rotate like that. So again, it's the come when called command. Tori is supposed to land in our like 1 foot, 2 foot vicinity in a sitting position, whether it's the front, left side, right side, or behind us, just as long as she's close near in the sitting position. We don't say sit, it's just she comes and she sits. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're just going to be shaping the behavior first. We're not going to be using any words, so whenever you're ready. So when I say not using any words and shaping it, I mean we're going to be using the leash and e-collar to kind of guide her. So right now my leash is slack. I'm going to go ahead and pull in a little bit, reel in. As soon as I hit tension, I'm going to pair that tension with the remote. Tap, 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 tap. Seeing where she's working numbers at. Wait. Whose remote is this? Oh, wait. Oh, this is her remote. Yeah, okay, never mind. I think the label fell off or something. So, good. We're gonna start at 30, since we're 35, since we're teaching something new. So like I said, we're gonna pull in. As soon as I hit tension, I'm gonna pair that with the tapping and slowly moving away. As soon as I see Tori make her way towards me, I'm going to stop tapping, let the leash go slack, take 3 to 4 steps back, and then as she's coming to me, I'm gonna be reeling in my leash. And after those 3 to 4 steps, I'm gonna hold, and if she passes me, I'm gonna turn, face her, tap, 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 moving backwards, and we'll see what she does, and then she should finish beside me. So here, leash tension, and then tap, tap, good girl. 3 to 4 steps back, reeling in my leash, tap, bring her over here, tap, 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 tap. And then tap for the sit. Tap. Tap. Good girl. Good. And then break. Good. We ended up at 54. So here, I'm going to pull in a little bit, leash tension, wait, yeah. Leash tension, and then tap. Tap. Gonna get some speed going. 3 to 4 steps. Hold right here. See what she does. And tap for the sit. Yes, good girl. Good break. Oh, sorry, yeah. Good. Release tension, and then tap, tap, yep. 3 to 4 steps back. Reel in my leash. Tap for the sit. Good girl. Good. Break. 2 more. Break. She's got happy tail. Good. Reel in a little bit more, and then tap. Good girl. 3 to 4 steps back. There we go. Now she's coming in a straight line. See if she lands to sit. Good girl. Good. Break. Break. Now we're going to switch it up. We're going to go ahead and start with the tap first, then leash pressure if needed. So slack leash, 37, tap, tap. There we go. 3 to 4 steps back. Hold right here. Hi, Tori. Good girl. Good girl. And then break. Go with Elias. Her tail's just always wagging. Good. Then tap. Tap. There we go. Good girl. 3 to 4 steps back. Hold right here. Good. Good girl. Break.
She's just happy to be here.
Tap. Oh, yes. Good girl. Good. So again, slack leash. And tap. 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 Good girl. 3 to 4 steps back. Reeling my leash. Hold right here. I like the speed. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Break. 2 more. Go, 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 go. Good. And then, yep. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. 3 to 4 steps back. Good girl. And then break. Good. 1 more. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. So here, move back, tap, hold right here. Tap. Good girl. Break. Now we're going to switch it up. We're going to go ahead and add the cue now. So it's going to be Tori come, tap. And I'll explain why we want to tap right after we do Tori come. We say Tori come. So here, let's slack leash again. Tori come, tap. Good. 3 to 4 steps back. Reeling my leash. Tap for the sit. Good girl. Good girl. Break. Bye. Tori, come. Tap. You got it, you got it, you got it. She's got it. There we go. Tap for the sit. Tap, move back, tap to close that gap. And tap for the sit. Good girl. Good. Break. Tori, come. Tap. Good. So that was a good one. Good. And then we'll cap it here. Thank you. Tap for the sit. Tap, 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 tap. So nothing out of the ordinary. She did really good. It was a little slow in the beginning, speed-wise, coming to me, not progressing, but she progressed really well. That last one was really good. I said, Tori, come. And then she immediately started making her way. And then with the tap, she still came. So the reason why we want to tap every time we say, Tori, come, or do the recall is to create confusion. So sometimes, like let's say she was off leash somewhere and she's smelling. And then maybe you do a recall, Tori, come. And then she's still smelling and you're like, okay, I'm going to tap you now. So you're gonna, as soon as you tap, what if she like decides to come? So technically that tap would be too late because she's already making her way. So two things can happen, either shut down or she could run the opposite way because she thinks she's doing something wrong. So we try to force the confusion now so that when it happens in the future, she knows no matter what, even if I get tapped after I'm coming, while I'm coming, or however you tap, it still needs to follow through with the command. So this will only be for a few of the first weeks when you're practicing recall until you see some consistency that no matter what, she still comes to you when called. Another thing you want to keep remembering to do is moving backwards. So as Tori's coming to you, remember to move back 3 to 4 steps backwards. One, because it's like the visual. So if Tori can't hear you, she can at least see you. So if you're moving backwards, she knows that's recall. So for example, if you're at the dog beach or like a loud area, you're yelling, Tori, come, tap, tap, tap. And then maybe she's looking for you and she sees you, but then she can't hear you. So then when you start moving backwards, she knows, oh, that's recall. Moving back also like brings them to you. It's like, like moving backwards, like, attracting them versus just standing still and just saying, come. And it's going to look a little difficult for the dog to know where to go if there's nothing moving. So you can practice this way. This setup is a 2-person setup that's kind of unrealistic because when people usually call their dogs, it's when they're moving or running, some sort of movement. So so that's why the setup is unrealistic. And if you're going to practice by yourself, you can have her on the long leash, 30-foot long leash, let her do her thing, and then do a recall whenever you like. So if she has like some prey drive, she likes squirrels or anything like that, let her chase the squirrels, let her be herself, and then whenever you like, issue the recall. So if she sees a squirrel, if she likes chasing squirrels, you can recall her when she sees a squirrel, you can recall her when she's about to chase the squirrel, or you can recall her when she gets to the squirrel. So like if the squirrel goes up a tree and she's there, you can recall her off that tree as she's like barking at the squirrel and everything like that. What you don't want to do is drill it out too much. So you don't want to, like when you go to your location where you can practice recall, you don't want to do it 5 times in a row and then keep drilling it out. You don't want to do it too many times at once. So go to the park, do 2 recalls, then the next time do 1 recall, the next time don't do any, the next time do a recall at the end of the day when you're there, or just mixing it up like that. That will help her, because if you're doing it too much, she's going to think, every time I go over there, you're going to call me, so why do I want to go over there? I'll just stay here if you're just going to call me. So she's just going to be really cautious and stay next to you.